fans. This is Underwear Guy, and this video is focusing on some of the underwear options you have for your Joker underwear costume look. And there's more than a few different brands here, and I just wanted to focus on what I thought could be cool to help complete the look that was still underwear related. I did actually add in the mix here a swimwear option from Andrew Christian because they had a really great deal that you can still get on their Splash Bikini, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But to start off with the actual item from the photo that I created, it's going to be the Gregg Homme Voyeur thong, and it's available in this really awesome purple color, which worked well for the look I wanted. It has a very low profile exposed waistband, which is kind of an interesting design touch because usually these exposed waistbands are like a full inch at least. This one's a very thin profile black elastic, and I actually found that it worked really well. The Gregg Homme branding is really minimal, which is the other thing that I try to look for when I'm coming up with an underwear costume look. You know that I don't like big, bold, graphic lettering or logos on the waistbands when I'm trying to create a costume look. So this fit the bill. You can also get this in a full brief version and a square cut version. So those of you who want a little more coverage than what obviously is a very minimal thong could go with that one. And the fabric, I should warn you, is extremely transparent. It's not a mesh, but it comes pretty close. It's highly stretchable. The pouch is kind of average size, maybe a little bit more room than you might normally have with underwear. So it's really good, and because it stretches, it can accommodate all sorts of profiles. But I like these particular lines from Gregg Homme. They always fit really well, and the quality is always there. Pricing is not cheap. This is a premium underwear line for sure. The sizing usually is true to size, so I bought this in a medium, and that worked out well for me. And I definitely recommend check it out, even just for fun underwear in general. I believe this line may not be around too much longer, so if you see it, you definitely should pick it up. Those of you who've seen the other underwear costume elements have probably noticed that I'm constantly talking about Joe Snyder, and I just like the cut and also the fabrics and the colors, and that always works well when I'm trying to put together a particular look. Here is the purple version of the mini cheek brief, or almost thong. It's kind of, I guess, what they call Brazilian cut in back. But this one is a really rich purple, and it has a really cool kind of almost metallic sheen to it on the fabric. This is obviously a very thin spandex. It's opaque compared to the Gregg Homme thong, but it's single layer, so there's definitely going to be some outlines showing. The pouch is not nearly as full as the Gregg Homme version, and if you need a lot of room up front, this may not be your best option. There is a bulge line in Joe Snyder underwear, and that has more room in the pouch. This one is just a unique cut, so I like usually going to it because it's not something I've seen very often. I also picked up, just for this tutorial, because I hadn't tried it before and I wanted to highlight different styles and cuts. This is I think they call it a bikini or a thong. It kind of depends on your way of referring to it. Here it says it's a bikini, and I guess that's because it's technically got some coverage in back, but it's really much more like a thong. It's just not a normal thong strap. So this is basically a string thong with very thin covered elastic sides. The same material as the other purple, same color. And it has just the minimal Joe Snyder branding here, that small heat seal logo, and that's also on here on the Brazilian brief. Single layer pouch in front again, and maybe tiny bit more room in front, but not a lot of coverage. So again, I'm obviously highlighting some pretty risque and daring cuts. It is supposed to be underwear, and I like to focus on a whole range and some of the stuff that maybe isn't as mainstream, but it's still tons of fun. So that's another option. Again, Joe Snyder's a little bit more snug than the Gregg Homme sizing. It's probably what I would call true to size. I usually buy medium. It fits okay. But you may, if you want a little bit more room, consider a size up. I think this is one, it's very much a personal choice. But you won't necessarily have a problem if you order your normal size. I mean, the waist is very stretchable, and that really helps fit a broader range. no matter kind of where you fall. Something that really was unusual, it's only because I was doing research for this tutorial that I found it, and it's this brand called, and I may mess up the pronunciation, but Boqari, B-O-Q-A-R-I. And in the Amazon men's underwear section, when I just looked for the color purple, this came up and I thought I'd try it. I believe these might actually be considered unisex, but it definitely works just fine because even it's a completely seamless square cut. And this one kind of worked out well in my opinion because it had this argyle pattern, which I thought actually kind of went well with the Joker look. It's really awesome because it's super stretchy, all directions. It can really fit almost any dimension. It doesn't have a shaped pouch, which isn't as good when you're trying to go for an accented look in front, but you definitely have a great fit, and there's more coverage, of course, as an option. I wanted to show something that wasn't just all thongs. And not too much branding. I mean, there's quite a bit of a logo here, but it's a little more subtle and it doesn't go all the way around. And I just thought this was actually surprisingly well made and relatively inexpensive. The cost was pretty reasonable, so I'll put a link in here. It's fun to try out. It's definitely not bad, and I feel like I got my money's worth. And it feels high quality, no loose threads, and the sizing seemed just to be fine. This was considered a dual size small medium, and I believe they have a large, extra large version. And again, because it stretches, it fit really well. The last option I'll highlight is something I didn't intend to buy, but it was available. It's super inexpensive right now relative for swimwear because it's on clearance, so this may not be around for that much longer, but it was the Andrew Christian Show It Splash Bikini, and this was a really awesome buy. The color of purple really fit the bill for the Joker look, so I wanted to highlight that, and you can still get it at Amazon and andrewchristian.com. It's a very nicely made piece of swimwear, and that's something I also wanted to highlight was that you can use swimwear for your costume ideas too, which has a lot of advantages. It's going to be more durable, it's a little bit more thick material so that you kind of can have a little bit more modesty or coverage, and it tends to fit well for longer periods of time. It's a little more snug. I would say in a way this almost ran a little too tight for medium, but I think it was all right. It's just the fact that swimwear is going to be more snug in general because it's meant to stay on through a lot of activities, unlike underwear, which is supposed to be a little bit looser fitting just in general. So that's the only minor fit thing I might mention. The pouch in front is about normal. It's actually got quite a bit of shape to it. The interior has the Show It elastic cup here, so obviously your package goes in there and it definitely gives you a lift and a boost, so that's really cool. Super well made. The color contrasting is great. I just thought it was a really cool option, especially at the price. I think it's like under $20 now depending on where you look, so I recommend you check that out. And the rest of these options are great too for anything in your Joker Halloween look, and these are all fun underwear items and swimwear items for you to have even outside of making a costume look. So check these out. I'll make sure to put links not only when I have the page up on my site at mensunderwearguy.com, but within the YouTube video you can go through, and I've provided links where you can buy all of these items. Until later, this is Underwear Guy, and hope you have fun underwear shopping and trying out different looks for underwear costumes.